Welcome back to another episode of There Will Be Expletives. I am Jeff.
I am Ron.
And why are we recording, Ron, when we could just be going back to see The Nice Guys again?
Let's do it.
How fucking amazing was that movie?
Oh my god, that movie was incredible.
Like, you expect a Shane Black movie to be good every time. Totally watchable. But I think he made his fucking best movie.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Shane Black movie. And he's made
That's one of my favorite movies.
He's made a lot of good stuff. I mean, fucking Long Kiss Goodnight, Lethal Weapon, like a lot of good stuff.
When he can take some of the oldest gags even in Hollywood like comedy and pull them off in today's world, whereas Ghostbusters is trying to make an entire fucking movie.
Well, it's because Nice Guys is what Ghostbusters wants to be when it grows up.
Right.
Basically.
Oh, dude. And I don't even like Ryan Gosling, and I fucking loved Ryan Gosling in that movie.
He deserves an Oscar nomination for that movie.
Him and Russell Crowe both.
They were they were funny when it was time to be serious, like, and the movie got dark. They were really good. It was just awesome. I already liked Ryan Gosling just because of I really liked him in Crazy Stupid Love, but I love him after that movie. He was amazing, and he should be doing more comedies for sure.
Yeah, he should be doing nothing but comedies after that because he was watchable.
He's so good.
Yeah,
With that, we're going to jump into the news. First up, Sicario 2 now has a title and a director. Hit me up with the title, Ron.
I don't know my Spanish. Soldado.
Spanish word for soldier instead of Sicario, if you are unaware. Which, first of all, you should watch Sicario if you haven't seen it. It's one of the absolute best movies of last year. Criminally underrated at the Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
It was Sicario, which was a Spanish word for hitman, and now the sequel will be Soldado, the Spanish word for soldier. It's not really a franchise, so I would imagine they would just straight up call this one Soldado.
Yeah.
Because the people who are really going to be interested in this have already seen Sicario and kind of know what it's not a brand,
right?
Yeah, so I think that probably will just straight up be Soldado for the sequel.
Makes sense.
Who's the director?
You keep hitting me up a little shit.
I don't know how to pronounce them. I'll let you butcher them.
Stefano Salima.
Yeah, I got nothing. I haven't. Apparently, Collider has him listed as a director of Gamora, which is another thing I have not seen.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, I have literally no idea. I'm pretty sure the writer is still returning.
I believe that's what I think we reported that a while back, actually.
The thing that is different, though, is reported before they were all coming back, and that being Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin, and Emily Blunt, but now they're saying Emily Blunt will not return, which kind of sucks because she was really good in the first one. But I actually like it that she's not returning because her character had a complete arc in the first movie.
Yes, they completely closed her arc.
When we talked about them getting a sequel in the first place, one of the sticking points that we talked about that I had an issue with was bringing Emily Blunt's character back because they had such a profound...
Yeah, you and I had no idea how they would bring her back into it.
It was such a profound... way to end her character story arc, and for them to kind of continue it, to me, felt kind of like being disingenuous of the story.
Yeah.
But fucking Benicio del Toro, you could do a trilogy off that character. He was so fucking amazing.
Dude, I want him to have his own movie.
He probably had like 8 lines the entire movie, and you're just like captivated by his screen presence because he was so fucking amazing. And yeah, that was the main one that I was pissed off that he didn't at least get an Oscar nomination. Because to me,
that was criminal.
He had the best performance of any movie I saw last year for me personally. So for him not even get
when you can command the room and you don't even have any lines. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was so good. And I actually like that Josh Brolin's coming back. He was really good in the first two because it's fucking Josh Brolin. He's always good too.
Right.
Do you think this will be a prequel, or do you think they are going to be continuing the storyline?
It could really go either way. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be sequel, but probably nothing to do with the first one because it can be its own thing easily in its own right.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be its own thing, but I do think it's going to be a prequel, and I think it's going to be kind of like the because in the movie, Emily Blunt is being introduced to both Josh Brolin and Del Toro, but it's established that Del Toro and Brolin already know each other. Right. So I think it's going to be those two characters being introduced for the first time. And they're.
Do you think it's going to be his backstory?
I think they're probably
just
going to...
based on the name being Soldier instead of Hitman?
I think they'll delve into it, but I do not think it's going to be a full-blown origin. I think they'll just kind of like give... Like in Sicario, how they just kind of gave you glimpses into his character. I think they'll give you more, but I do not think it'll be a full-on origin story. But either way, I'm really excited for this, as long as that writer is returning, because Sicario was one of the better films last year, and I'm super stoked for it. Another sequel that Ron and I are fucking stoked for.
Fuck yes.
It's goddamn Pacific Rim 2, Ron.
Best Transformers movie and best Godzilla movie rolled into one.
High five. John Boyega has now signed on to be the lead, and he is going to be playing the son of Stacker Pentecost, who was Idris Elba's character, which I'm totally fucking on board for.
Yep.
As long as they don't pull an Independence Day and have someone else's fucking kid.
Riley's kid who's like 3 or something.
It's so fucking convenient that the world is ending again in the new Independence Day, and both the fucking kids of the leads are the leads. It's fucking stupid. It was just literally fucking stupid. With this, though, I'm totally cool with it. John Boyega is a really good actor. I'm really bummed we won't get to see another Del Toro directed Pacific Rim, but I do have a lot of faith in
Now,
Steven.
is he still on for the script?
I believe he's still probably consulting, maybe help write it. He's for sure a producer on it, probably be heavily involved, but he will not have the final say as directing. But it's Stephen DeKnight, who is responsible for a lot of the best stuff in Daredevil Season 1.
Okay.
So it's in good hands. The Kingpin episode, the finale, because Stephen DeKnight was the showrunner after what's the name of the dude we like who directed or who wrote The Martian? God. I'm blanking on his name. Drew Goddard. Drew Goddard. Yeah, he basically had to. It did a fantastic job too, because he had to step into the showrunner's role midway, because Drew Goddard created the show, did the writing for the first 2 episodes, and then stepped away from the project. So Stephen DeKnight to come in and knock out of the park with some of that stuff that he put into that show was a really, really good job. I think it's in good hands. I'm just really hoping that with Del Toro being a producer on it, that it still has the same kind of tone and feel to the first one. You know, it's like bombastic, who gives a fuck that it's dumb, it's robots beating the fuck out of kaiju. Right. That's all that matters.
And that was kind of our attitude going into the first one.
Yeah. So. If it tells you anything, last couple of years when I bought my new big screen TV, the first thing I watched was I bought some fucking alcohol and I watched Pacific Rim. And it tells you all you need to know about Pacific Rim. But yeah, John Boyega, really good. I think he'll step into the leading role really, really well.
And it kind of says something about Pacific Rim 2 also, if you think about it, because John Boyega is coming off the heels of the success of Episode 7. So for them to go out and seek someone as recognizable right now and as hot in Hollywood as John Boyega, I mean, it kind of says, you know, that they're going a little bit more into it, a little bit more all out than they did the first one.
Yeah, and they use the star power for the leading role too. In the first one, they had Charlie Hunnam, who's from Sons of Anarchy. He's a good actor. Yeah. But the star power was Idris Elba.
Right.
So the star power actually being the leading character, I think, is a good sign for this new one.
Yeah.
And I can't fucking wait. One of our other favorite actors on the planet is Mr. Tom Goddamn Hiddleston.
You goddamn right, son.
And this news is pretty depressing. He is actually kind of... it's understandable. He has been blitzed by all of the reporters for Bond comments.
Yeah.
And did you want to say one of his most recent quotes?
This was at Wizard World Comic Con in Philadelphia. He said, "I'm sorry to disappoint you, everybody. I don't think that announcement is coming," referring to the 007 casting announcement. "I'm very gratified to hear the enthusiasm. There's not much that I can say that I haven't already said. Your guess is as good as mine, to be honest." If they do not get him after they were willing to pay fools. Daniel Craig $120 whatever million, yeah, fuck them. Yeah, they are almost hogtied into having to get him for this role now, because if they don't get him, they will be murdered by Loki fangirls. I was gonna say, can you imagine the backlash? Like imagine. I mean, people are gonna go fucking Benghazi on the studio headquarters. Imagine if tomorrow. And I'm not saying, like, I hate him, but imagine tomorrow the reaction if it's Jamie Bell, just hypothetically speaking. Right. The internet will fucking break. A little meltdown, yeah. Yeah, people will die. Yeah. And why would, if you're willing
to pay Daniel fucking Craig, and nothing against Daniel Craig, he's a decent actor, he's good, but Daniel Craig, if you're willing to pay him $125 million, and obviously money is no part of the question,
apparently,
why? He should, because, I mean, I get one of his other quotes that he's talked about recently, Tom Hiddleston, he basically said, like, you know, technically the role isn't vacant yet, because Daniel Craig has pretty much said he's gone, but he's not officially gone.
Right.
But everyone knows he's not coming back. He's fucking been on a record.
He said he would rather slash his wrists.
Yeah, just make it
than to do another Bond film.
Make it official. Get Tom Hiddleston. Dude could be Bond for fucking 5 movies.
Yeah,
at least or more, and then everyone will be happy. The dude's gonna knock out of the park. I don't get how we talk about it all the time.
You saw what he looked like in Avengers, dressed up all snazzy and everything.
Yeah, and I started The Night Manager. He's fantastic in that too.
Yeah, which is a spy movie.
Yeah,
and the rumor also had it that they were wanting that director, right?
Yeah,
so I mean, it was going to be Night Manager the movie.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten to finish it, but I've watched the first episode. Night Manager has been fantastic so far. This is one of those things where it's like we talk about all the time. I don't understand how it's not already a done deal.
Yeah,
it's really baffling to me. And then God bless them if they don't. Go this
route.
How
do you take that quote? Do you take that quote as in he's waiting to hear on them, or he's not sure 100% he wants to do it, or both? Or
I think it seemed pretty,
because there's no reason why he wouldn't want to do that, right? That's one of the most iconic UK characters.
I'm pretty sure he's come out and said, "I would love to do it." Because why would you not? Like, I think he's obviously interested in it, and if they go a different direction, they're fucking fools. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
It'd be a goddamn Idris Elba or Hiddleston or bust is pretty much what they're looking at right now.
Seriously.
Tom Hiddleston was one of the stars in front of the screen for the first Avengers film. Let's talk about one of the stars behind the scenes, and that was Alan Silvestri. He, if you aren't familiar, did the score for both the Avengers film, and actually my favorite score out of all the MCU so far is actually the first Cap. I love the themes in the first Captain America movie. They're just really, really good stuff.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I forget the guy's name, but he actually, in Age of Ultron, took Silvestri's score and built on top of it, the way John Ottman did with John Williams for Superman. For Superman Returns, I should specify. But that Alan Silvestri theme in the Avengers,
it's a really good theme. I like it a lot.
It was just perfect in every way for the movie, and it holds up really well just listening on your own if you buy the soundtrack. And they
ended up getting because I did a little bit more research into it for Age of Ultron because I was curious, and we both discovered Danny Elfman actually he helped do the theme too for Age of Ultron, and Danny Elfman's usually pretty good. I mean, fucking Batman, but the music in Age of Ultron, especially compared to his Cap, compared to Silvestri's Cap theme and the first Avengers theme, I couldn't even tell you what the theme was for Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you until the credits because that's when it's recognizably Silvestri's theme.
Yeah, so this is Alan Silvestri is coming back to do both Part 1 and Part 2 of Infinity War, whatever they end up being called, and I think that's fantastic because it's odd too because really for the most part the only thing that's been missing from the MCU is the scores because other than the Cap and Avengers ones by Silvestri,
couldn't really tell you any of the
others. They're not really memorable.
They're good, but they're not memorable.
It's a little bit cheating, but you can associate AC/DC with Iron Man. They did a good job about making that like a
he's even wearing AC/DC.
Yeah, it's kind of like it was more of like a running.
It's a character thing.
It was like a character in joke, not less than like an orchestral theme,
right?
Which especially when across the pond. That Wonder Woman theme for the BVS soundtrack was amazing.
Yeah.
And they just started getting on the ground running.
I was going to say, the DC movies, whatever your opinion about the movies are, they've always had amazing music. I mean, anything, they usually use John Williams or Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer in the Dark Knight trilogy had amazing music.
Yes, he did. The way that he could take any scene that involved the Joker, no matter how, no matter what the fucking Joker was doing, hearing those strings, creating that tension,
and and in the Dark Knight when the credits hit,
yes,
and the drums kick in, it just makes it even more like I'm pretty sure I got goosebumps the first time I watched it.
Batman Begins after he's talking to Rachel and he jumps off the balcony.
Yes,
and everything just kicks in right then.
So good, yeah.
And then the Wonder Woman theme, the Man of Steel music, and actually the Batman versus Superman music too, because he kind of took his Man of Steel stuff and went on top of that.
The only thing I haven't liked with them was that God-forsaken Lex Luthor theme. I'm pretty sure the Lex Luthor theme was recorded while Hans Zimmer was on lunch break and an intern came in and started pushing buttons.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of in the Family Guy Star Wars thing when John Williams gets killed and he's like, John Williams, no! Now we have to finish this thing with Danny Elfman. And then it was all fluttery and he beheads him with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I really don't. Or maybe he was just like, why would I even bother wasting my good shit on this?
Right.
When it's such an awful character performance. Like
maybe that was just his cue for the audience to know that this scene was going to be awful.
That was a business decision. Not using any of his actual good music for that. But yeah. Ant-Man. I loved Ant-Man. Yeah. I can't tell you any of the themes in it.
Yeah.
We should mention it's cheating because it's not technically a score. But if you're just talking soundtracks, we should mention Guardians. Guardians had a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
But it's cheating because they're using actual songs.
Right.
They use them perfectly, but we're talking scores here.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the MCU has sucked.
Yeah,
the
it
MCU
really
has really sucked for music, which is very strange because that is such an integral part of filmmaking.
It's amazing that the scores that they have are good and they fit the movies, but they're, like you said, they're not memorable, and that's really strange because two of the biggest elements of any movie is the villain and the music, and most of the time you can't remember either one from the MCU stuff.
I always say Star Wars without the music is fundamentally broken.
Pretty much. John Williams made those.
All of the heart and soul of Star Wars is because of John Williams by himself.
Pretty much.
Like
when the guy can throw a Star Wars concert,
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Poor Kevin Smith.
Rip Kevin Smith.
That was so sad, yet kind of funny at the same time.
Hey, it made him a stormtrooper.
Yeah, dude. He'd trade that every fucking day of the week. But yeah, let's keep the trend going for the MCU and talk a little bit Spidey Homecoming. And they have added an actor by the name of Michael... fucking names today. Barbieri? I have no idea.
Barbieri?
Yeah.
Barbieri?
He has been added. All they have said is that he's going to be playing Peter's best friend, and they stopped there. The speculation, the natural choice that you'd think would be Harry, but
yeah.
I think since he wasn't just announced as Harry, they might end up going a different direction. Comicbook.com further reported on this, saying, do you know Miles Morales?
Yes.
The Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yes.
They're saying what they're going to do with his buddy in this to mix it up is basically take Miles Morales' best friend, his Harry Osborn, and inject him into the Peter Parker storyline.
I don't get a little bit of both worlds.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the character's name, I'm really behind on Miles Morales Spider-Man, so forgive me, comic fans.
You racist. You son of a bitch.
I don't even know how to respond to that. But the character's name is Genki, I guess. I have no idea.
You racist son of a bitch.
How would you pronounce that word? That was what was reported. I literally have no idea.
I just call him Gank. That's still Gank, bro.
It really sounds like a 90s fucking like slur. I really don't even...
You fucking Gank.
That sounds like a South Park term. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. I have no idea. Either way, it's fucking MCU Spider-Man. 20 minutes worth in Civil War is already the best Spider-Man movie we've gotten.
Pretty much.
So I have literally no complaints about anything they do with this film.
Yeah, their casting is usually spot on. We don't really know this kid, but he is going to be in Dark Tower, so we'll see him in that.
And the rest of the Dark Tower cast is fucking great.
Yes.
So if they were willing to add him to that,
yeah,
he's got some chops. And man, MCU
is basically like HBO. They usually don't hire bad actors.
Like that Tom Holland kid.
Oh man.
Usually, because
he was in a movie for 20 minutes, and now he's for life Spider-Man in my head.
It's crazy. He had no time to really, because if you're let's say with Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie, Robert Downey Jr. has time to go into pre-production. and get familiar with everyone on set.
He was cast when the movie was almost done.
over months and months and months of like pre-production to kind of get your mind wrapped around the character.
Yeah.
They didn't even have Spider-Man rights yet when they started that shit. Kid goes in, knocks it out of the goddamn park.
Yeah.
Like, so I have complete faith in them, especially casting younger kids for the Spider-Man stuff. So I'm excited for it. Let's jump across the pond and get back to talking about some DC shit. And yeah,
DC shit or DC shit?
DC shit. Yeah. They really DC.
I would have not have gone into Batman versus. I know this is off topic. I would not have gone into BVS thinking I would have walked out more excited for the Wonder Woman movie than Justice League or anything else.
Right.
Like, it was just crazy. Nothing against Wonder Woman. She's just never been my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, other than the Justice League cartoon, that's the only time I'd ever liked that character, really.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so why I am actually intrigued by the storyline, though. James Wan, who is now in production on Aquaman, during an interview sometime over the last week or so, basically said to the interviewer he had the choice between The Flash and Aquaman, and he chose Aquaman. Did you want to go ahead and say the quotes?
Yeah, basically he said, but the thing that ultimately pushed me more towards Aquaman is I love the possibility of creating a whole new world, which we've talked about before, the underwater world and everything, how difficult that could be. And he said, I've always wanted to do a world creation story and visually create this amazing, incredible, magical kingdom. I mean, he's really going full Disney in his quote. And also, I love the fact that Aquaman is an underdog character. I love the fact that people like to make fun of him. I feel the bar is a lot lower and I can have fun with him. And then he said, what it allows me to do, I think people are a lot less precious with him than, let's say, you're doing a Spider-Man or Batman or whatever. So
I think this is actually fantastic news, because this whole mindset behind him and his approach to this film is exactly Jeff Johns' approach to making Aquaman with New 52.
Right.
When he made Aquaman one of the most beloved parts of the entire New 52 run before they ended it is the Court of Owls Batman stuff and the Aquaman stuff, because Jeff Johns, being Jeff Johns, made Aquaman relevant again. Made him he injected the fucking Aquaman in-jokes into his comic with it.
Like that, I don't talk to fish.
Like they have they have that one, and my favorite one from the first, I think it was the first issue, maybe the second issue. Aquaman stumbles into town, and it's from the perspective like these two beat cops, right?
Uh-huh.
So these beat cops are trying to stop this like robbery or heist, whatever, from happening. Aquaman walks in, and he stops the crime, and he's a complete badass. And then they go back. Aquaman leaves, and it cuts back to the perspective of the two beat cops. They're like, "Dude, Aquaman saved the day, but we couldn't. The guys are never going to let us live this down to the station." It's like stuff like that. It's like when you make it meta, and then bring in the Aquaman shit into the storyline, it makes it really fun.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really, really good idea and good approach. And if I were him, especially with the Flash being, at the CW and really popular right now, I would have done the exact same thing. Yeah. I think he did it. I think he made a really, really smart decision.
Yeah. No. I mean, if it wasn't for Jason Momoa and James Wan, I would tell you that his arch enemy in the movie would be those little plastic rings that you get like cans of Coke on and stuff.
Arthur, quit getting fucking salt water in the beer. I love all of his. I've told you multiple times, I love his world building and atmosphere and the horror stuff he's done.
Yeah.
I think him creating the atmosphere of having like creepy creatures underwater. I think this and Wonder Woman have to me the most hope out of all of these movies. Although I am with Jeff Johns jumping on board the Batman thing, I'm a lot more interested in that. Yeah, with him actually being hands-on with it.
That piqued my interest a little bit more, but I still don't hold the hope too high.
And like he said, I mean, you really can do anything with Aquaman, and you're not going to have people going like with Batman. Why the shit they decided to have him kill people, I will never know. Yeah. They are still taking shit for that. The movie came out like 3 months ago. Yeah. You can do anything with Aquaman. No one's going to complain, really.
Like you said, the bar is set so low. Aquaman is a joke. So,
and then if you crush it, you're like, holy shit, he made Aquaman good.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're set. I mean, he's
like you were talking about with Jeff Johns when he did New 52.
Yeah,
that would be James Wan in the DCCU. I still call it.
Jeff Johns is he's on record as basically saying like that's his favorite thing to do as a writer too, is to take these random ass characters out of nowhere and then making them something special. Yeah. And while we're talking about the Flash, they actually got a new director of the week. Because I swear to God, we're on episode 63 of this podcast, and I think they've changed directors and writers at least 125 times for this project.
I think they just have a bunch of directors and writers' names on a big wheel that they spin.
We actually just got breaking news. Ron and I are now the writers of the Flash movie. So,
hey, with the development hell this movie's been going through, that would be a huge ass step up.
We'll at least actually try to get some shit done. We'll fail, but we'll try.
Yeah.
They have added Rick Famuyiwa, the director of...
Bless you.
Every fucking article, he has a weird-ass name.
It's awesome, too, because it starts out with Rick, and then goes into Famuyiwa. I don't know.
He did an indie film named Dope.
See, and when you sent me the notes, I couldn't tell if it adds dope director or if it added a dope director.
Flash movie. Cut this dope director, bro. It's gonna be wicked, bro. But yeah,
it's gonna be gank.
We have to make that a new thing now. It just sounds so gross, though.
It doesn't help that my sister-in-law says dank all the time, so I'll just look at that and I see gank.
But yeah, I hadn't heard of this film. I have nothing against it. It was such an indie film.
Oh, bro, it was dope.
God damn it.
I'm not going to let it go.
I'm sure all the blurbs in the DVD have dope written in it in some fashion. But yeah,
New York Times labeled it dope. Comicbook.com said it was gang. All right, I'm done.
I've totally lost my train of thought. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sure it's a fine little indie movie, but they have gone from Lord and Miller to the dude who did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter to people we haven't heard of.
Yeah.
It's not looking good, and it's disconcerting for a character who they've already had on screen in BVS.
Yeah.
It's very, very disconcerting.
And not only that, a CW show is knocking it out of the fucking park with, too. Well,
they were.
They were. But they've done a lot better than you and I probably thought they were going to do when they started. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just very odd, because of all the characters, I would not have told you that Flash is the one that's having these issues.
I think it's because of the CW show. I think people know that it's a losing battle almost, because no matter what, you have 22 episodes to develop the character. Obviously, the tone is going to be more fun with the CW shit than what they're going to allow them to do in the movie. It's going to help that Jeff Johns is in charge now.
Yeah.
But they've set a precedent with this movie that, like, it's a revolving door.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you and I would do it, but...
maybe this is our in. I mean, they're just hiring anyone off the street now.
Stop the fucking podcast. Good work on that.
I mean, they're basically just putting a sign in the window for this movie.
We're going to recreate an original villain. Name is Gank. His powers are totally dope.
Oh, God.
I don't know. You know what would be really funny, though? Is in the Flash movie, they make fun of the whole... My name is Barry Allen, and I'm the third fastest guy on my own TV show.
Right.
That would be really funny. They had a little in-joke about it. Yeah, it's just... I'm worried about it. I hope they get the shit on track, because this movie is going to be upon them quicker, than they realize.
It is worrying us. I mean, there is always the chance that all the chances they go through is what makes it as good as it is.
Like Ant-Man. Ant-Man went through development hell.
Ant-Man went through a lot of shit. But... I mean, at the same time, most of the time it's not a good sign when you see this stuff. It's not like going in for reshoots or something. This is some serious shit happening.
At the fundamental level, they cannot get the fucking movie going.
The ground.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. movie they're actually getting off the ground in the theaters in August, Suicide Squad, and this created a hiss back to it that was kind of odd to me. Suicide Squad is officially PG-13.
I'm fine with that.
And I think it should have come to no surprise to anyone.
Yeah.
People are complaining that they didn't go the Deadpool route and made it, and that they didn't make it
well,
hard.
for the most part, the movie was mostly made at that point anyway.
Exactly. That was actually what I was talking to one of my coworkers today about this. We were discussing the Suicide Squad PG-13 rating. Basically,
because you're not going to get anything rated R till next year.
If they would have, in their reshoots, forced this movie into an R rating, it would have been bad.
Terrible, yeah.
It would have been awkward.
Oh, yeah.
So
you would end up with something like Jessica Jones trying to be shocking and trying to be
for the sake of being shocking,
just for the sake of it. Yeah. To me, there's no reason to have this movie anything above PG-13 because
The Dark Knight was PG-13.
Yeah, and look how fucking dark it was. Yeah,
yeah.
The rating is not. I don't know how to say this. It's a big deal and it's important, but it's not what makes the movie necessarily. It's fun to have R when there's a story that you necessarily can't do without it.
Or a character
R,
like Deadpool.
Or a character like Deadpool. You cannot pull off a PG-13 Deadpool. Believe me, they've tried. That's so his mouth shut. It's... I don't know. It being PG-13 does not bother me. It
didn't bother me at all.
They have a colorful enough cast. They have crazy enough characters. You've got...
it's been proven you can do the Joker, who is the darkest character in PG-13. Why are we even having this conversation?
And they did him...
It's stupid.
They did him even darker than you and I could have ever imagined in that movie. He was so much more sinister than what you would have imagined him to be.
Yeah, well, first of all, the people freaking out happened because people will bitch about literally anything and everything that happens in today's world. It is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like we fucking No Man's Sky. Dude's like, man, I gotta wait till like August to release that shit, bro. No, we're gonna fucking murder you and send you death threats because No Man's Sky got delayed 2 months. Like, Jesus Christ, people.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you should have to pass an IQ test and a psych eval to get a Twitter handle. Yep. I'm not even fucking kidding. It has gotten that bad.
Yep, I agree.
It's depressing to be a part of the human race if you go on and spend 5 minutes on fucking Twitter.
There was an article I read today that social media use is declining worldwide, including like Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. I think the reason all this shit keeps happening more and more is because the sane people are the ones leaving. They're being driven away by all the insanity.
It's rough.
Yeah. It's bad out there. But
I agree with you. I thought this was a good sign that they didn't, after the fact, make it R, piggybacking off the Deadpool shit.
If this had come out R, I would have guaranteed you that is exactly what the reshoots were for.
Yeah, they would have been set in stone that they manufactured it into an R rating after the fact, and it would have been shoehorned and terrible. If the only other character that the whole PG-13 R-rated discussion. The only other character that would have pissed me off if they had reverted back to PG-13 was Wolverine, and it looks like they're going R-rated with that, which is smart.
Yes.
His superpower is cutting people with fucking knives. For the love of God. Suicide Squad, I think it'll be fine. It's David Ayer.
Yeah.
Dude's yet to make a bad movie. I think this will at least be watchable, and I think we will...
He's writing and directing, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing. If it's written well... the rating is not as important, but like we said, Deadpool is the most obvious example, but you cannot do a Deadpool movie without it being R. And yeah, Deadpool is going to change the way comic book movies are viewed, because before companies needed them to be PG-13 because they saw them as kid stuff / family stuff, and they thought that you wouldn't get just straight up adults going, and Deadpool changed all of that.
And it's just as
he's not even as well known a character as a lot of them.
Other than Deadpool, it was a fact that it's just common sense. PG-13, the more access you have the more access people have to go and buy a ticket gets you more money.
Right.
Deadpool was a complete anomaly.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't. I'm glad that it happened because we'll get shit like R-rated Wolverine, but it should not have shifted industry standards.
But people, are going to be looking at movies differently. But the most of the movies coming out this year are already so late in their development. It's going to be next year before you see those changes taking
and
place.
I don't think we're going to get quite as many as people think we are.
Yeah.
And obviously Deadpool 2 can be R.
I kind of like the formula of like Batman vs Superman is kind of the best of both. Like you got the PG-13 in theaters and then the Blu-ray.
That's a good point too.
If it was a good movie, I'd be a lot more interested in it. But you have the accessibility and then you have the rated R stuff. So
and it was still a pretty damn dark movie.
Yeah, it was.
Depressingly so.
Yeah.
In other DC news, The Killing Joke is going to be getting a Fathom event and will be in theaters for one night only, July 25th. Any interests on your side about going and checking it out?
Yes and no. I mean, I'd like to be there, but like you said off mic, it's probably going to be $20, $25 a pop.
You might as well buy the Blu-ray.
Might as well just buy the Blu-ray. Another example of a R movie that probably needed its rating.
Yeah, 110% in agreement.
I haven't read it, but I know what shit goes down. I don't know how you could do it off. I don't know how you could do it convincingly as PG-13.
Even the shit there are more fucked up subtext that you're unaware of. That I'm curious if they're going to approach it in the movie. I will. If it was $8, I'd probably definitely go. If it was 10, I'd probably go. It's going to be 15 or 20 probably because
it's Fathom.
How much are the Fathom events usually? They were a little more expensive, weren't they?
They were. It just depends on what they are. Some of the operas were like $40, $50.
Really?
Yeah, we had some of them that were like $35 to $40 a pop.
That is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I was in college at the time, and one of my finance teacher found out where I worked because I was at Cinemark over there, and he was like, man, he's like, what you guys do with the operas is just fan-fucking-tastic. And I was like, are you serious? Because they're like $40 a pop. And he's like, yeah. He's like, $40, I can get a front row seat. He's like, that's like a $130 ticket.
Yeah, that is true.
He's like, actually there. He's like, I don't have to travel. He's like, I don't have to get a hotel.
I don't have to wear a suit.
Yeah. He's like, and I have a front row seat.
That is true. But yeah,
I was like, well, I guess if you're into it. But,
right. I think... typically, their standard movies are probably going to be in the range of 15 to 20.
I'm thinking that because they got to get their cut. Fathom has to get their cut.
If it's roughly the same price as the Blu-ray, just buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now this was interesting. It was reported by, I forget what the news outlet was. I think it was from the UK. One of the special features on the Killing Joke Blu-ray and DVD is a featurette for Justice League Dark. And if you're familiar at all with the DC animated films usually plug the next one at the end, either actually after the credits, like with Flashpoint, or Justice League War. I think they did it too for the Aquaman stuff. And
Throne of Atlantis.
They usually will have like a little featurette, little like 5-minute preview type thing, maybe some behind the scenes. So if you're unfamiliar with Justice League Dark, it is actually the comic that uses characters like Deadman, Constantine, Swamp Thing, Zatanna.
That's what I was thinking it was.
So this was actually in production as a live-action film for a long time with Guillermo del Toro doing it. Swamp Thing was another character usually doing it.
Yes.
If that had happened, that would have been fucking astounding, but it looks like it just... I guess it was too much of a risk for the studio to be able to do now. Because if BVS had launched like Iron Man, where 10 years down the road you can do shit like Guardians and Ant-Man, it would have been cool, but it's not going to happen now.
No, it's never going to happen.
I would, if it was Matt Ryan doing the voice, how cool would that be?
They need to have Matt Ryan.
It would be fucking incredible, dude.
There's no way that they can't do Constantine in that without having Matt Ryan.
I hope they get him. We'll have to wait and see on that one because he's very busy. He's actually
the world over saw the Twitter reaction to that show getting canceled.
I'm still bummed about it, man. I know.
I really am too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy that since I find it somewhere.
Hopefully he's because he's actually like big into Broadway now. I believe. I think that's what he kind of got into. So hopefully he'll have free time to go and do it.
He was a cool Torchwood villain, by the way.
Matt Ryan was in Torchwood?
Yeah, he was a Torchwood villain in one episode.
Well, shit, that's all you had to say. Yeah, I'm totally on board with Justice League Dark as an animated movie. A lot of really, really cool characters, and we'll just have to wait and see. While we're talking about some ensemble DC stuff, why don't we transition over to talk about Legends of Tomorrow?
Why not?
And
we should always be talking about Legends of Tomorrow.
That finale, man.
I know.
Badass finale.
No strings on me.
Season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow has added Vixen. Are you familiar with Vixen at all?
A little bit. Is she the one that can take certain attributes of like animals and stuff?
Yeah, this was the character that they
she had the animated thing online, right?
She had the little animated web series thing going, and people like really clung on to it, and they ended up having her in an episode or two of Arrow of season 4.
Yeah, because and it's the girl that does the voice that played her.
Yeah, and that's actually part of the thing that's interesting about this. They are using a different actress, and they're actually reportedly going and basically kind of turning the character. This actually might be from the comics. I don't know. I know nothing about this character. I haven't watched the web series, so I'm ignorant to the character. But they're kind of making it kind of like the Black Panther, how it's like a thing that gets passed down.
Okay.
So I guess they're using an earlier version of Vixen, which, if you're doing this, why wouldn't you just use the same
recognizable
person?
One, yeah.
Maybe she is not
on board.
Maybe they weren't happy with the acting performance, although I couldn't blame her because it was fucking Arrow that she appeared in. I literally have no idea.
Anyone whose performance was bad on that show is not their fault, believe me.
I thought it was odd. It's Legends. They've done a good job of the D and below list characters so far, but to me, if you're going the mystical route and you're not even getting the same fucking actress, Constantine was a pipe dream pretty much, but why not do Dr. Fate? Like, there are cooler mystical characters they could have gone with, I think. Or unless they're wanting to save like a Dr. Fate type thing for later. Totally possible. We can go on what we have right now. I just thought it was kind of strange. It's fucking Legends. I'll be watching it regardless. I just thought it was kind of strange news.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. Something else going down on the CW is we're going to get Season 2 of Supergirl, as we've reported before. This one kind of intrigued me, though, because
I'm stunned this is happening.
CBS, you didn't even believe me when I texted you about it. CBS stayed as far away from Superman as they could with that show. And, like, what did you say? You see him, like, in the background zipping around? Or
Philip was saying that Warner Brothers allowed them to have him in the show as pretty much talked about in passing and, like, a silhouette in the background. And that was the most Warner Brothers was allowing them to do.
Well, he's being cast in the first 2 episodes.
And you know who we have to thank for this? Mr. Jeff fucking Johns. Yep. I thought this was incredibly convenient.
Right after he takes over?
A week and a half after Jeff Johns takes over. Oh yeah, you can cast Superman for Supergirl. I don't give a fuck.
Smallville, you might as well be.
And people, understandably, because they've gone the nostalgia route with John Wesley Shipp being on The Flash.
Yeah.
Who was The Flash for a season on a completely different network. People want, and he started trending on Twitter when this announcement came out. People want Tom Welling to play Clark Kent and Superman.
He's being cast in the first 2 episodes of the season 2 startup, and the thing that was interesting is he's being cast as Clark Kent and being cast as Superman both. So you're going to get to see Clark Kent and you're going to get to see him as Superman. How much and what capacity is yet to be seen.
I think, especially talking about the nostalgia casting within Supergirl, her dad is Dean Cain, who was Clark on Lois and Clark,
right?
And her mom is the actress who played Supergirl in the movie in the 80s.
Okay,
so it makes complete fucking sense if they do not get Tom Welling.
And I've seen on IMDb too that Terry Hatcher was in an episode or 2.
Yeah,
also.
I forget who she's playing, but I think you're right. If they do not get Tom Welling for that role. And especially, like, what is Tom Welling doing right now? Managing an Applebee's? Like, I don't think he's exactly hard to get.
That was brutal.
I love you, Tom Welling. I'm just saying. I literally haven't seen the dude in anything else post Smallville. I like Smallville. I'm not saying he's
brutal.
I'm not saying he's bad.
I'm
just saying,
man. That was
I'm just saying. I haven't seen the guy in anything else. Maybe that's him. Maybe that's him not wanting to act, but I'm just saying I haven't seen anything else. If they do not get him for this role, that is a giant fucking mistake.
Yeah.
Because fucking Tom Welling was trending higher than fucking the word Superman on Twitter. So, especially, it's the network. He was on their network.
Yeah.
It would be a mistake, and I hope they're smart enough to realize to get Tom Welling for that. I want to see him do it too. I think it'd be really cool. I think it'd be really, really cool.
the other bit of Supergirl news is, Jeff, tell me, who the fuck is Lena Luthor?
I had to Google her to make sure she actually wasn't made up for the show. Apparently, she is in the comics. She is obviously the sister of Lex. To what capacity?
So she's Lex's sister, not like daughter or something?
I saw a sister when I was researching it.
Never even knew he had a sister.
Never knew he had a sister. You and I are obviously not big into Superman, so she might have been a big character at some point we didn't know. I have no idea. I think it's interesting though that they're digging deeper into the toy box, because one of the other things they were talking about casting was actually the head of Project Cadmus. Which, you remember the Cadmus stuff in the Justice League cartoon?
Vaguely.
J.K. Simmons, his character in the Justice League cartoon, he was the second in command to Waller when they were creating the task force type thing to basically be able to take down the Watchtower when they started doing the Suicide Squad stuff.
Okay.
So Cadmus is actually like a really, really big plot point in the comic. So I actually like what I'm seeing so far from the Supergirl, the casting and everything. And I think it's really, really a good sign too that they're willing to Warner Brothers. We're now willing to step the fuck out of the way and realize it literally doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know how willing they were, because Jeff Johns is kind of running the show.
Well, it's what was convenient, because like a couple of weeks ago, the Thea actress from Arrow actually came out and said we were mandated to kill off all of the Suicide Squad characters,
and she will be missed.
Fast forward, she'll join Chloe Bennett in the Great Beyond.
They were ganked.
God damn it! That is going to be. I believe a running in joke until Ron forgets that we ever talked about it, like an hour from now.
Tomorrow. An hour from now. Fuck you.
You'll be the first person to say that you have goldfish brain syndrome.
Yes. I don't need you to rub it in.
You'll forget it.
I don't need you to remind me. I keep forgetting I have goldfish.
You'll forget that I rubbed it in, so why wouldn't I just take advantage? Yeah, I think it's really cool.
You're not supposed to take advantage of the handicap, Jeff. That's not gank.
No, it's wicked dope, bro. This podcast has got even more off the rails than it typically does. Oh yeah, what I was saying.
Caffeine. What's your problem?
How fucking convenient is it though? 2 weeks before the previous people in charge, and the Suicide Squad is nothing compared to Superman.
Yeah,
as far as a brand, and then Jeff Johns now is just like, fuck it, do it. I don't care, because it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't affect anything.
Well, I mean, by those standards, Flash should have died in the season 2 finale. You know, if you don't want multiple of the same character going on, then how can you have the show in the movie?
Why would you go out of your way to stop Suicide Squad when you're allowing the Flash to happen? It was so ass backwards. It's weird.
Yeah.
I literally it's fucking trying to guess what Warner Brothers is doing is like throwing darts, dude.
Well, that's all they're doing. Just throwing a dart and seeing where it fucking lands.
They just go. They print out an IMDb page of directors. Who's doing the Flash this week? Ron, let's talk about a show that we love to talk about every Sunday night.
Every Sunday night on tonight's watch.
We are shameless bastards, and that is goddamn Game of Thrones, Ron.
Fuck yes. For this night and all the nights to come.
Yes. Until we get sued by CBS. Game of Thrones actually released some tidbits.
Dragon Glass. That's their weakness.
The CBS attorneys.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been thrown off track so many times. Gotta quit ganking me, bro. Game of Thrones.
That's not dope.
God damn it. Game of Thrones. This season's season finale will be the longest episode to date. Was it 69 minutes?
Yes.
I believe. Which that's a fucking long episode of Game of Thrones, and I love it.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound long, but then you remember there's no commercial breaks.
It's a movie.
So it's a movie.
It is just about, I think, 80 minutes is what is technically considered passable as a film to get into theaters. Yeah. So you're getting pretty goddamn close to being a movie.
Pretty close to being a movie, because usually your hour-long show is about 44 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. But on... I was about to say on Game of Thrones, I guess that's not technically wrong, but anything on HBO or any of the premium channels, Netflix, they're a straight up hour because they don't have the commercial interruption.
They run like 52 to 58, roughly.
Something like that. So it's 69 minutes.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we're going to be wanting even more because we had to wait fucking like 10 months.
I know.
After
It's going to be glorious and awful at the same time.
The director of the last 2 episodes this season
Tell him.
Fucking names, man. Miguel Sapochnik.
Sapochnik!
He sounds like fucking Chekhov's brother on Star Trek or something. I literally have no idea. But yeah, he fucking directed Hard Home, dude. We are getting pretty much
a Hard Home movie.
A 2.5 hour long Hard Home movie from this dude to end the season. I can't wait.
I don't even know what to say.
Give it to me now. Give it to me now. In disturbing and depressing, but also it makes me sad, but I'm also kind of happy and I respect them for it. It is now confirmed by one of the directors. Season 7 of Game of Thrones will be 7 episodes long instead of 10.
I'm fine with this. I'm sad, but I'm fine with this.
I agree because I appreciate them for not pimping it out and whoring out for every little bit of ad revenue they could.
I would rather have the shorter season than have worthless filler. That just feels like it's out of place. I'm not saying that that's the way it would be with their writers. You might not even notice that there's filler in it. But at the same time, I appreciate them trying to stay true to the show itself,
and to
to
George R.R. Martin, because they're ending his vision before he got to himself. I can imagine it'd be pretty hard as a writer,
right? So, I mean, and then like I said, to the fans itself, because you're not trying to pull one over on your fans. So I appreciate what they're doing.
The anti-Walking Dead is what they're doing.
Because like one of the greatest things about Breaking Bad is when it ended. You were happy and sad and pissed off you weren't going to get any more all at the same time.
You should always be wanting more and not wishing it had ended sooner.
Right.
Because
like Walking Dead versus where we are now in God.
Yeah. With and the guy who confirmed it was Jack Bender. He directed the 2 episodes. I forget if I know he did the Hodor one of this season. He did either the one before or after that, I forget, but he did a batch, like kind of like the Miguel guy is doing, the 2-episode batch. They've been doing that a lot this season.
The Miguel guy,
Miguel Gank. They're doing it, I guess, in sequences of 2 now with the directors. I guess it makes it easier on them. He was asked if he'd be back for season 7. He said no. They're sticking with in-house guys. They only have like 7 episodes next season. I'm sure he has now been murdered by Benioff and Weiss. But yeah, and this pretty much confirms that if this is going to be season,
they found him with dragonglass in the breastplate, in the breastbone.
This pretty much confirms too that if season 7 is going to be 7, their final is going to be 6 too.
Yes,
I think that kind of confirms that later portion of the report,
which is not unusual for a lot of shows to have their final season be fairly short. So
yeah. It's a bummer we won't get more, but I do respect them and appreciate their willingness to not.
And like we said before, and this is just you and I, just shooting the shit. But that's not to say that Game of Thrones as a whole is completely ending. There could always be spin-offs. There could always be other things that they could do.
I almost guarantee you, it probably won't be immediate.
When HBO sees the numbers after Game of Thrones ends.
I don't think it'll be ran by Benioff and Weiss.
No, it won't.
But I think they will have a prequel show within 5 to 7 years after it's over.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be immediate though.
Yeah, they'll have something. They'll either have something set in the same universe off to itself. Or
Martin
a prequel.
even has a separate spin-off prequel novel series that's at least I don't know if it's actually full on novels, but it's at least short stories and has been turned into comic books and graphic novels. So there's plenty of shit they can do.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It'll be something. I just don't think it'll be immediate turnover. Like the season, I don't think it'll be the season after Game of Thrones is over. Here's the spinoff, everybody. I think it'll be 3-5 years at the earliest before you get more. Yeah. We have one more bit of news to get through, and then we are done for the day. And we are not even going to be playing this fucking game, but I want to talk about their badass trailer. And if you haven't seen the trailer for Injustice 2, you need to YouTube that shit immediately. Because that is the most wicked Flash action I've ever seen.
I know.
They got that cool thing with his suit. How it has like the Tron, almost like
all of them were kind of Troned.
But It almost looks like Flash has like light cycle tracks going over him.
I was gonna say, dude, he is a light cycle.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Trying to be so much cooler with a Flash in it. Like, what? They're crossing over fucking Men in Black and 21 Jump Street. Cross fucking Tron and Flash over.
Right. Yeah, no. That trailer was fucking. Fuck the DC movies. Just give me animated movies of those people.
If they don't get those guys as consultants for the Flash action in the movie, they're
Right.
goddamn full, because it was amazing.
Yeah, that was incredible.
You completely buy Flash taking on Superman.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be able to buy into that.
You shouldn't be able to buy into that. One of the reasons
you shouldn't be able to buy into anyone taking on Superman.
One of the reasons I'm not too keen on playing Injustice or its sequel, nothing against that, I'm sure it's a fine game. I do not really care for fighting games too much. I know they're still really big in the industry, but they're just not really for me. And as a big fan, it kind of irks me when they have to try to kind of sell player 1's playing Superman and player 2 is playing Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn isn't a little smear of goop on the ground.
Just because Superman sneezed.
Exactly. Or like fucking Darkseid v Joker. Like, I'm sorry, shit don't work. Yeah. Although I you know what I do like to do though is go and watch the cutscenes of their finisher moves. Have you ever seen the Aquaman one for Injustice 1?
I think I have, but I don't remember.
If you're in, I don't know if it's on every map or only like one or two of the maps, but the ones that are underwater, he breaches the glass and lets water in, and Aquaman stabs you in the chest with his trident, holds you up in the air, and a giant great white shark bites you off the trident and then goes out into the ocean, and it's fucking incredible.
So you get Sharknadoed.
You get Sharknadoed. Yeah, but I will watch all of the cutscenes for Injustice 2.
Yeah.
And this was actually accidentally leaked ahead of time. It was probably going to be an E3 thing, but someone fucked up and is now dead. Like
What they do, put it on their LinkedIn page.
God, fucking LinkedIn.
That they did the cutscenes for Injustice 2.
LinkedIn ends more careers than it helps. But yeah, E3 is next week, so if you're interested in our opinions on it, which why would you not?
Right?
E3 is wicked gank.
It's going to be dope, bruv.
We will actually be doing next week's podcast. If it's a light news week, we'll probably combine and do a quick lightning round of news plus E3. Or if it's a big news week like this week was, we'll be doing a separate E3 podcast.
I think pretty much the only news outside of gaming maybe is going to be E3, but there'll probably be a lot of gaming. It's probably just going to be all E3.
We're going to be bare minimum doing an E3 podcast. We just don't know if it's going to be a separate thing, but we will be doing it, and we'll be, I'm sure, bitching about No Man's Sky for at least half of it, because that's what happened last time.
I'll tell you what we'll be talking about. For better or worse, Telltale Batman.
Oh my god. Arkham Origins 2. We're being rumored 2. Yep. If they announce Red Dead Redemption 2.
Robo Dead Redemption.
If they announce Red Dead 2, I will have to bring a change of pants midway through the press conference.
You will gank your pants.
And now you have made it weird. And on that note, if you'd like to check us out more, you can just go to therewillbegank.com. No, please like and subscribe. That gets you all of our content.
Be totally dope.
God damn it. You could put up a fucking little gank counter at the bottom of the screen. Ding! Ding! It's like the Batman kill count video. Yes, please like and subscribe if you're interested. That gives you all of our commentaries, podcasts, reaction shows, all of the good, mediocre content we provide. We also have Facebook and Twitter links in the description. And if you know anyone else that might also be interested, we would really, really appreciate the share of our stuff. And I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
We will see you guys next week.